I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that you are looking through a microscope.
Okay.
You're in this quiet, dark room, right? And you're peering down at a single drop of water on a glass slide.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that drop, there's just an entire bustling universe. Tiny creatures darting back and forth, completely going about their little affairs.
With absolute confidence.
Exactly. They have no idea you're there. They have no concept of this giant eye watching them from the darkness above.
Right, and they certainly don't realize their entire world could be wiped out in an instant.
Yeah, which is honestly a terrifying thought because, well, it forces you to realize you aren't the one looking through the lens.
Oh, wow. Right, you are the creature in the drop of water?
You are.
Yeah.
And that is exactly the atmosphere we're stepping into today. So welcome to this deep dive.
We're taking things in a slightly different direction this time.
Yeah, we are turning the lights down low for this one. No background music today, no sound effects, just the raw, chilling power of one specific text.
The first chapter of H.G. Wells' of War of the World.
All right, Chapter 1, The Eve of the War. And our mission today is to look at how this narrative constructs this creeping, almost cosmic dread.
It's all about contrasting human arrogance with this invisible, approaching doom, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, written in the final years of the 19th century, humanity was just so supremely confident.
Oh, the Victorian era was the absolute peak of vanity.
For sure, people were just going to and fro over the globe with infinite complacency.
I love that phrase, infinite complacency.
Perfect. They were serene in their empire over matter. If they even thought about other planets, they just dismissed the idea of life as impossible.
Or, you know, they fancied there might be inferior men on Mars, people who would welcome a missionary enterprise.
Which is just wild to think about. It's like looking at an ant farm, right? We thought we were the scientists standing outside the glass box.
Mm-hmm. Observing the universe.
Right. But we were the ants. Because across the gulf of space, there are minds watching us.
Minds that compared to ours, as our minds do to beasts that perish. Vast, cool, and unsympathetic intellects.
Vast and cool. But, you know, I do get hung up on one specific detail there.
What's that?
Well, the text explicitly describes these vastly superior intellects as being as moral as man's own.
Yes. That's a crucial point.
Right. But if they are so intellectually supreme, like almost godlike compared to us, why emphasize that they're mortal?
Because grounding the horror in biological reality completely changes the threat. I mean, these Martians aren't gods.
Right. They aren't just acting out of sheer malice.
Exactly. Or divine wrath. Because they're mortal biological entities, they are bound by the exact same ruthless evolutionary pressures that we are.
Oh, I see. So they experience necessity.
They do. They experience the real threat of extinction. Think about it. A god might be merciful, right? A cosmic entity might just ignore us.
But a desperate creature fighting for its life.
That creature will do whatever it takes to survive.
Wow. Yeah, they aren't looking at us out of idle curiosity. They are looking at us with envious eyes.
Because their own world is dying.
Right. Let's talk about the planetary science of that for a second.
Sure. Yeah, so it relies heavily on the nebular hypothesis, which was popular at the time.
Which basically says solar systems form from a contracting cloud of gas and dust. Right?
Exactly. And in that model, the planets further from the sun form first and cool down faster.
And Mars is a lot further away, 140 million miles.
You know? So it gets barely half the light and heat that we do here on Earth.
Plus, it's just physically smaller. It's barely a seventh of the Earth's volume.
Right, which brings us to secular cooling, the gradual loss of planetary heat.
Okay, secular cooling. How does that work?
Think about a small cup of espresso versus a huge pot of coffee.
Oh, okay, the espresso cools way faster.
Right, because of the surface area to volume ratio. So Mars, being that small cup of espresso, accelerated through its geological lifespan much faster.
So life started there much earlier.
Yes, long before our planet even stopped being molten. But that also means it's much closer to its inevitable end.
It's exhausted. I mean, the text describes the air as attenuated, barely breathable. The oceans have shrunk to just a third of the surface.
And those slow seasons, huge snowcaps gathering and then melting, just causing these devastating floods.
Right. And even at its equator, the midday temperature is barely like our coldest winter. You can literally feel the cold tightening around them.
It's a freezing, suffocating death. So they look across 35 million miles of space toward the sun.
And they see us, Earth, warm, green with vegetation, gray with water.
Cloudy atmosphere, just eloquent of fertility.
We are their morning star of hope.
Oh,
Which, I mean, it's so easy to just view them as these purely evil monsters, right?
It is, yeah.
But honestly, if our planet was freezing to death and we looked over and saw a warmer, fertile neighbor, wouldn't we do the exact same thing?
Well, we definitely wouldn't just sit there and freeze.
Right. We'd organize, build ships, and take it.
And the narrative actually holds up a brutal mirror to human history in that exact regard.
Oh, for sure. It forces us to look at ourselves.
Yeah, before we judge the Martians too harshly, we get this reminder of the utter destruction our own species has caused.
Like the bison
Yeah.
or the dodo.
Exactly. But not just animals, other humans. The text specifically mentions the Tasmanians.
Right, who were completely swept out of existence by European immigrants in, what, 50 years?
Yes, just 50 years to erase an entire people in a war of extermination.
So, are we really in any position to complain if the Martians do the exact same thing to us?
It's a devastating critique of 19th century imperialism. I mean, to the Martians, we are as lowly as monkeys or lemurs are to us.
They just see inferior animals.
Right, which is the exact rationalization human empires use to justify their atrocities. You categorize people as biologically inferior to justify conquest.
Justifying resource extraction
Yeah.
and extermination.
Wow. So this Martian invasion is just a dark reflection of human imperialism scaled up to a cosmic level.
They're literally just doing to us what we have historically done to each other.
Yeah.
Vast, cool, and unsympathetic.
Expanding their borders.
Man. So they have the motive and they have the mindset, and this is where we enter the countdown.
The gathering trouble.
Yeah. And what is so deeply unsettling to me is how humanity entirely missed the signals.
Well, the Martians' mathematical learning was far beyond ours. They prepared with a nearly perfect unanimity.
Planetary scale organization.
Exactly. And we could have seen it if we'd known what to look for. Astronomers like Schiaparelli spent years watching Mars.
Mapping it, right. Seeing fluctuations, but just failing to interpret them.
Right. And then it escalates during the opposition of 1894.
Remind me, an opposition is when Earth is directly between the sun and another planet.
Yes, exactly. So in 1894, Mars and Earth were incredibly close, the perfect window to launch an invasion.
And during that window, a great light was seen on Mars by the Lick Observatory and Perrotin of Nice.
English readers even read about it in Nature magazine on August 2nd.
But they didn't know what it was.
Right. But we know now it was the casting of the huge gun, sunk into a vast pit getting ready to fire.
And then 6 years before the present day of the story, Lavelle of Java gets his turn.
Ah, yes. The spectroscope.
Right, he sets the astronomical wires palpitating. Toward midnight, he sees this massive outbreak of incandescent gas, flaming hydrogen.
Moving with enormous velocity toward Earth. He called it a colossal puff of flame, violently squirted out of the planet.
Like flaming gases out of a gun.
A singularly appropriate phrase, honestly. And the science of how Lavelle knew it was coming toward us adds this whole other layer of dread.
Because of the spectroscope.
Yeah, so a spectroscope takes light from an object and splits it into its component colors, like a barcode.
Okay, a barcode of light.
Right. And every chemical element leaves specific dark lines on that barcode. When an object is moving rapidly toward you, those light waves compress.
Which shifts the barcode toward the blue end of the spectrum.
Exactly, the Doppler effect. So Lavelle didn't just see a flash, he saw the undeniable optical physics of a massive explosion hurtling directly at us.
He had empirical proof.
Yes.
And how does the world react? The greatest existential threat in history is hurtling through space. And it's treated as back page filler.
It's almost funny in a really dark way.
The Daily Telegraph gives a little note. Punch magazine literally uses it for a political cartoon.
It's normalcy bias at its finest.
It's like looking down, seeing a red laser sight pointed at your chest, and thinking, oh, what a fun new flashlight.
People just can't comprehend a disaster that has never happened before.
Right, they assimilate terrifying information into safe categories. A flash on Mars must be a volcano, or a meteor shower.
Or punchline for a joke. It preserves their comfortable worldview.
So we zoom in from this global ignorance to one single, incredibly intimate room.
The observatory at Ottershaw.
Yeah. The narrator goes to visit his astronomer friend, Ogilvy. And the atmosphere here is so deliberate, it's midnight.
It's dark, it's silent. Just this shadowed lantern throwing a feeble glow.
And the steady ticking of the telescope's clockwork. The narrator looks through the lens into this deep blue circle and sees Mars.
A silvery, warm pin's head of light, faintly marked with stripes.
And it quivers a bit, but that's just the clockwork vibrating. Then, exactly as the chronometer strikes midnight, the second missile is launched.
A reddish flash at the edge, 10 shots over 10 nights.
And Ogilvy, this brilliant astronomer standing right there in the dark, absolutely dismisses the idea of life.
He says the chances against anything man-like on Mars are 1,000,000 to 1.
1,000,000 to 1. He thinks it's a heavy shower of meteorites.
Or volcanic explosions. He confidently explains how organic evolution wouldn't repeat itself on adjacent planets.
He's like a mechanic who knows every component of an engine perfectly, but is so focused on the pistons, he doesn't realize the car is driving off a cliff.
That's a perfect analogy. His scientific intellect is ironically the very thing blinding him.
Yeah.
He understands the rules of the chessboard so well, he can't fathom someone just flipping the table.
Right. He assumes biological evolution wouldn't repeat, but he completely misses that desperation might force a different path to the same violent end.
Mm-hmm.
And the spatial tension in this scene is just bone-chilling. 40 million miles of void, the immensity of vacancy.
It's this brilliant juxtaposition of scale. You have the unfathomable darkness outside, 40 million miles of deadly silence. But inside, you have the comforting, localized ticking of the clockwork.
Human measurement.
Exactly. Human control. Ogilvy feels safe because he understands his telescope. He mistakes earthly knowledge for universal truth.
While out in that frosty blackness, an invisible missile is drawing nearer every single minute, thousands of miles closer.
The thing that would bring so much death to the Earth.
And no one dreamed of it. That juxtaposition forms the emotional core of this dread. The missiles rush earthward at miles per second.
Hour by hour, day by day.
And humanity just goes about its business. The papers print little notes about volcanoes. The photographer gets a cool new picture.
And the narrator himself, right? With swift fate hanging over him, he's busy learning to ride a bicycle.
It's almost absurd, learning to ride a bicycle. And he's writing papers on the probable developments of moral ideas as civilization progresses.
The irony is staggering. Writing about moral progress while an extermination force is literally hurtling toward him.
The final scene of the chapter is so poignant it almost hurts. The first missile is barely 10 million miles away.
It's a warm night.
Yeah, he goes for a walk with his wife. He points out the zodiac. He points out Mars creeping zenithward.
Same dot of light all the telescopes are pointed at.
And all around them, the world is just singing itself to sleep. Excursionists pass by playing music.
They hear trains in the distance, the shunting softened into melody.
His wife points out the signal lights on the railway. Red, green, yellow. And he says it seems so safe and tranquil.
Hundreds of people sleeping in peace down in Chertsey.
It is the ultimate expression of the vulnerability of peace. They feel protected by their civilization, comforted by the trains and the lights.
Totally unaware that those lights mean absolutely nothing to the intellects descending on them.
It strips away all our comforting illusions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It leaves you with this deeply uncomfortable realization of how fragile daily reality is.
We build our routines, our little affairs, and assume the universe will just accommodate us. We mistake the quiet of our own homes for the silence of the cosmos.
We really think we're the ones looking through the microscope.
We forget about the drop of water.
We do. So, I'll leave you with a thought to mull over tonight as you sit in the quiet. Think about the invisible urgencies of the universe. If an unerring missile were hurtling through the dark toward us right now, drawn by our own warmth and light, what trivial, everyday concern would you be busy stressing over the moment it arrived?